Hello everyone, I'm Heidi and welcome back to my video. I'm a licensed immigration consultant with over 10 years of experience, and my job is to make Canada's immigration policy understandable, reducing confusion by cutting through jargon. So if you ever need legal advice on immigration, feel free to reach out and I'd love to help. Now we all know that a lot has changed over the past 2 years, and one of the biggest questions I keep hearing is what's really going on with Canada's immigration, and what about the PNPs? So first, let's step back and look at the big picture, then we'll dive into Ontario's updates, and then introduce what OINP Express Entry is all about. Not too long ago, Canada's message to immigrants was basically, "Come on in, we need you." Now the door is still open, but it's not swinging wider anymore. A lot of people are finishing school or wrapping up their work permits, hoping to stay, and then realizing there just aren't as many options as before. And that has people wondering, does Canada even want immigrants the way it used to? Well, the numbers kind of answer that. Canada's PR targets are decreasing due to pressure on housing, healthcare, and infrastructure. PR target in 2024 was 485,000. It's been reduced to just 395,000 in 2025. 380,000 in 2026, and then 365,000 in 2027. And it's not just PR, temporary residents, so anyone here on a work permit or study permit will be kept at about 5% of the total population. So how does this actually play out in the immigration system? Let's look at Express Entry. For Express Entry, that means you are seeing higher CRS cutoffs and more category-based jobs. These jobs are targeting healthcare, STEM, trades, transport, agricultural, and of course, French speakers. And the categories themselves aren't fixed. They can be adjusted based on labor market needs. For example, the federal government is considering adding new express entry categories for senior managers, scientists and researchers, and military personnel in the 2026 plan. Now let's zoom in on Ontario, which is still the most popular landing spot for newcomers. The rules here have been shifting too. They've introduced a brand new employer portal for job offer streams. Employers have 14 days to submit application for approval of an employment position from the date of the invitation to apply. And once they do, candidates have 17 days to send in their application. Now in Ontario, they might interview both the candidate and employer, and they can even return an application with a refund before giving a nomination. One of the more flexible changes is for early childhood educators. If you are a CEC member, you don't need a bachelor's degree for certain streams. So overall, the process is more structured, but it's also more selective. Here's how Ontario works with Express Entry. They don't run a completely separate system. They pull candidates directly from the federal EE pool. But they're only looking for people who match Ontario's specific criteria. They've got 3 streams: Human Capital Priorities, HCP, French-speaking skilled worker, FSSW, and skilled trades. And if you do get nominated, you get an extra 600 CRS points, which almost guarantees an ITA in the next federal draw. Now, let's break down the 3 streams under the OINP Express entry. The first one is the Human Capital Priorities, HCP. This stream is for skilled professionals, but Ontario is very specific about who they want. They need a Tier 0, 1, 2, or 3 job, a bachelor's degree, CLB 7 or higher for language, and at least 1 year of skilled work experience. They often target high-demand sectors like tech and healthcare. The next one is French-speaking skilled worker, FSSW. This one is for people who can work in both of Canada's official languages, and right now it's one of the most powerful ways to get into Ontario. You need CLB 7 in French and CLB 6 in English, a bachelor's degree, and at least 1 year of skilled work experience. French-speaking candidates are in high demand, and the CRS cutoffs here are often much lower than in other streams. The skilled trades stream is for people doing the hands-on work that keeps the province running, building, fixing, creating. You need at least 1 year of Ontario work experience in an eligible tier trade within the last 2 years, CLB 5 or higher for language, and a certification of qualification if your trade is regulated. These jobs usually have lower CRS scores than HCP, which makes them a great option for people already working in Ontario. In the federal system, you typically need a CRS score of 480 to 520 or higher to receive an invitation. With the OINP, once you secure nomination, the additional 600 points almost guarantees the ITA. But the OINP Express entry isn't a shortcut. It's competitive in a different way. The real challenge is getting nominated in the first place, since Ontario is highly selective and only invites candidates who match their specific profile targets. Here's what that difference looks in numbers. In June 2024, OINP's HCP jobs had CRS scores between 472 and 476, while the federal jobs at the same time were at 534. In October 2024, skilled trades jobs in Ontario were between 350 and 462, while the federal jobs were 471. And in September 2024, French jobs in Ontario went as low as 290. So there is a big gap, but only if you are in the right stream. If you've been watching OINP jobs lately and wondering why things have been so quiet since late 2024, here's the reason. Ontario hit its 2024 nomination cap of 21,500 by December. For 2025, that cap has been cut almost in half in just 10,747 spots. That means fewer jobs and more selective invitations. So what can you do if you want to aim for OINP Express entry? The answer is you got to be strategic. Boost the French for both the FSSW stream and the federal French jobs. Target Ontario's top priority knocks. Apply quickly after getting an NOI because you've only got 17 days and that goes fast. And always keep a plan B with other provinces or the federal jobs. Ontario's express entry is still a strong pathway, but only if your profile matches what they are looking for. If you're French speaking, in trades, in healthcare, your chances are better. If you need help, reach out and book consultation, and I'll answer your questions or assess your eligibility, providing legal advice to you. Alright, that's all for today. If you found this video helpful, you can check out my other immigration guides at mapleleafsim.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.